everybody, and welcome to a that's a lot of very special episode of the Navs Effect podcast, the Six Man podcast, and the Boleros podcast. It's a collaboration that us guys have wanted to make happen for the longest time, and now we are here as we preview the UAAP off season. Joining us today, the Sultan of Sando, Gab, Maui Up, the lovable Maui, of course, from the Boleros podcast, and the ever affable host, Sam, who will be tuning in also and talking with us on this episode, and filling in for Nico Rocha, who says he's busy with a tour in Spain, but my theory is he got drunk on sangria, is Mario of the Six Man podcast. And shout out to everyone who is already tuning in. I see that our guy JP Manan is already here. Edward Gutierrez is already here. Edgar is already wondering if Graham will show up on this podcast. The very popular Graham, who went viral for his accurate prediction, shall we say, last UAP season. but guys, thank you so much for being here. How was the holidays for all of you? I don't know about you guys. It felt like a very animo holiday for me. Do you
Ito
guys?
na! Ito na! Oh, it has
Ano yun?
started!
Nakatawa yung champion.
Less than 2 minutes. And then we hear it from Navs.
I thought you
I
would
have
give
to-
it mga 5 minutes in before you would do some trash talk, Navs. I didn't think that you would start off with trash talk.
Well, to be fair, nah, you know what? I'm not gonna go there. First of all, I do want to say a major thank you to our friends over at Cooper's Coffee House. Alec Villavicencio, my guy. I'm sure he's also happy with how the UAP season ended. And his coffee shop, Cooper's, the absolute best. Quick story. When I told Maui and Sam and Gab and even Nico that we would be having Cooper's for this recording tonight, they were excited, and they didn't even know yet at that point that Cooper's was a partner of this podcast, because they love it. Like, I loved it before I partnered with them. The brown butter latte is awesome. Sam, your wife loves the brown butter latte too, doesn't she?
Hell yeah. She was excited.
Hell yeah. How about you, Maui? You went with the brown butter also. I guess you like it sweet, don't you?
Yeah, it's my favorite from Cooper's. I usually have it when I also go to their steakhouse. Hi, chicks.
Hi, chicks. Absolutely. Sister companies, their steaks are awesome. So thank you to Coopers for fueling our recording tonight. Thank you also to another partner of this podcast, Daily Fantasy. Guys, if you want to put your fantasy knowledge to the test, it's simple. Just log on to the Daily Fantasy website or download the app. You can join a game for 10 pesos, for rubies, or for 50 pesos, and you can potentially win big. 10 pesos could potentially win you 1,500 pesos. Now, just look at the screen right now. I'm doing a sample of how to make a team, an 8-man roster. And if you guys play Yahoo Fantasy, NBA Fantasy, Fantasy over the years, you know the drill. Best performing team stats-wise ends up winning the game. Big time rewards. There will be a referral code in the description box. It's Naveen, and a link I'm going to share in this episode for you guys to register to the platform. And who knows, you might have your lucky day and win big money. And by the way, if you want to copy someone else's lineup on the platform, that's possible as well. Again, Daily Fantasy, thank you so much to our friends there. Always a fun time with them. All right, now we're back with the boys. Do you guys have UAP withdrawals already? Let's start with you, Gab. I'm guessing that, like me, some days you're just going on YouTube and flipping through not old, like highlights from a few weeks ago. But you do have a lot of those old UAP classics now, too.
Yes, but it's more of that my weekends are now freer. There used to, back in September, October, November, all of my weekends would be full just watching basketball. And now I don't know what to do with my free time during the weekends, especially in the afternoon. Usually in the afternoon, I'm stuck to my TV watching some UAB basketball. But now I have a lot more time. I watch a lot of series, some anime. I've spent more time with my kids. So nakapanibago yung more time during the weekend. So yeah, nakamiss ang UAP basketball just after a few weeks.
Gab, as a new dad, I need your advice on how to survive watching the UAP games with a kid. Because I call the UAP season for me the don't get divorced from your wife part of the calendar. Considering I tell her every weekend, I can't take you out on a date. I'm watching basketball. But she gets it. Credit to her. So how do you do it, man? How do you balance everything?
Uh, he watches with me. I know.
Teach them young.
It just one tip: do not shout when a big play happens, because when a big play happens, I usually shout, and my baby gets frightened or surprised, and he ends up crying. So don't shout. Just hold your emotions inside. That's my only tip.
Gab, I hope you showed your baby a lot of De La Salle Green Archers games if he wants to know what top
Oh,
notch
he watched
basketball
with me
is.
in the finals, Nabs. He watched the finals with
I
me,
like
games
that.
1 and
I
2.
like that. Maui, when you think about the college basketball off-season, what usually excites you the most? Is it the off-season tournaments? Is it the player movement? Is it the quiet from the chaos? What do you look forward to the most?
Actually, to be honest, yung breaking news mo, bro, yung what keeps me waiting in the off season. We want, I guess, we want chaotic, di ba? We always want chaotic in the off season. But aside from that, maybe the off season tournaments. Happy that a lot of leagues have spawned throughout the years. Kasi before it was only Phil Oil that I was really waiting for, but right now we have Asia Basket, we have Pinoy Liga, so many leagues, di ba? We also get to see the team Bs of the other teams, so we get to see a glimpse of some potential players who could make a mark in Team A basketball. But yeah, generally speaking, most during this time, really breaking news because it's the end of the season. A lot of teams are looking to bolster their lineup. So looking forward to the recruits mainly from high school. But hopefully not a big. Hopefully a lot of big players stay. Para we continue to have parity, because that's something that was so prevalent this year, which I love so much.
So, I have some kind of good news for you, Ateneo diehards. I'm not gonna reveal what just yet, but let's just say there's potential good news coming in the works. More on that in a little bit. I swear, once like sorry, I just saw a comment and I almost laughed. So once the first Monday after the holidays hits, it's like there's so much wave of potential developments that, hits the fan. This player might go here, this player might transfer here, this player might come in here. There's a lot of smoke screen at first, so there's a lot to sort out, but like Maui said, over the next few weeks, it's gonna take place. Sam, how about you? What do you miss the most so far about the college basketball season? Is it the individual performances, the close games? Because we had quite a unique UAAP season that just took place.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the previous pod. I think this was one of the most exciting seasons in the past few seasons. Sobrang daming close games and a lot of like exciting matchups. And usually it's like what three big schools that really compete for the final four, diba? For the championship. But this season felt kind of different. Na parang at until the end of the very game, hindi mo pa alam yung order ng Final Four, diba? Like, different teams were battling for at least the last two spots. So, I think last season was super interesting. Definitely, like, as Maui mentioned, just watching the news then, like the different updates, mga breaking news about like the teams was also interesting for me. Actually, for me, like muscle memory pa rin eh. Like I keep going through the different podcasts, like and yung mga news channels, Tiebreaker, I still check. It's like UAAP news, pero medyo slow. But hopefully, as you mentioned, Nabs, sana maraming lumabas in the coming days or weeks.
Or months. Sometimes it takes up to the start of the off-season tournaments for teams to really reflect upon their lineups and what works, what doesn't. Mario, filling in for Nico today. So, have you finally listened to Nickelback? For those who don't know, before we started shooting today, Sam, Gab, and myself, while waiting for Maui, was lecturing Mario about the beauty of Nickelback music. What do you think? What are your first impressions so far?
I
Nilaglag mo
thought
naman ako eh.
I thought we were talking about the UAAP. Am I in the wrong episode right now? Did I join? But I haven't listened to it yet. I'll do it right after. Don't worry. I got you right after, man.
Okay. More important question. Your life is on the line. You have to root for Ateneo, UP, or LaSalle in a UAAP game. Who are you rooting for? Come on,
So-
Mario, tell us.
I see I'm regretting the off-air talk that we started with a while ago, right? So I will say, as of right now, because I am in Ateneo, I will root for Ateneo. A season which I genuinely thought was gonna end up better. And I think the three others here also thought it was gonna end up better, but we accepted it at the end of the day.
Hey, do I get an honorary Ateneo badge from you gentlemen for being one of those who really hyped Ateneo? Or do you guys you're like one of those Twitter accounts who just scream "Kulam" at me? What does "Kulam" even mean, man? Like,
Navs,
I don't know.
We're right with you. Remember, after Ateneo beat LaSalle, we said Ateneo is back. And then they lost. How many straight games?
The curse.
Went downhill from there.
Hey, you know what? To be fair, we knew early because we saw in Asia Basket how good they were gonna be. That's why their losing streak was a surprise. But we also didn't account for Divine Adili missing a few games and Jared Bahay being injured for a few games, right? I mean, those guys weren't 100% really up to the end of the season. And if there's one thing that Ateneo fans should hope for in season 89, it's a healthier lineup. All right, so we have some off-season topics that we want to tackle in this episode today. First, I asked each of the gentlemen, including myself, to think of questions that we can talk about and unpack. The first question submitted by Gab is this one. Will UST, NU, or Adamson go in a different direction? Whether that's coaching or roster or management. I guess with UST, that's kind of answered already. But Gab, tell us first why you thought of this particular topic.
Well, I was thinking of teams that underachieved in season 88. So that was mainly UST, NU, which were both aiming for championships, and Adamson, which was aiming for the Final Four. All of those three teams did not make it. UST, there was news before season 88 that SMC was exiting the UST program and that another group was going to take over. So will Coach Pido stay there? They did not get past the Final Four again. Is that satisfying for UST fans? Is that the goal? Given the amount of talent that they had for this year, Nick Cabanero, Paranada, and Fortsky all graduating, I think they had championship aspirations. And you have to question also the lack of strategic thinking that Coach Pido has. I look back at round 2 versus UP when Harold Alarcon was killing them throughout the game and they did not adjust their defense at all. They just allowed Harold Alarcon to get to his spot and make his mid-range fade away over Mark Liemit. So the lack of adjustments is something that has plagued Coach Pido in his two or 3 year tenure in UST. So will the UST fans want him back for another 2 or 3 seasons? So that's a question for me. And you, need I explain more? Would you consider this season successful for NU? They were the number 1 seed, woohoo! But flamed out after 2 games through to the number 4 seed, the De La Salle Green Archers. I think you have to ask the question: is there someone better? Is Jeff Napa the Mark Jackson, and who's the next Steve Kerr? Diba? Who's the next person to take them over the hump? They have a talented roster, but they just can't get to the finals. And they were the number 1 seed, and they just couldn't get to the finals. So I think you would consider this season a failure if you were an NU fan or an NU management person, diba? For Adamson, do you want to be the Chicago Bulls for eternity? Do you want to just be the team in the play-in all year, every year? So again, who maybe you want to think of someone who can take you over the hump. Uh, that's a legit question. And uh, Coach Nash not making the Final Four despite all the preseason success, despite having a roster that's I think pretty talented, a guard rotation that I think is one of the deepest in the UAAP with the rise of Ray Allen Torres. So uh, these three teams I think are in a crossroads. Do they want to stick to what's been working, or do they want the next level, or do they want the next direction that they're gonna go into? So I think that's a pretty solid question to ask for this off season, especially for these three. Well, yung kayo sa UST, I think Navs you will go into it. I think they have committed or sorta to Coach Pedro.
So, the first thing we need to realize or tackle in this subject is if the Adamson Soaring Falcons are the Chicago Bulls of the UAP, who is the Michael Jordan of the UAP? Are we talking about no, I'm just joking. You mean the
It's Jacob
modern day
Cortez
Chicago
for
Bulls?
now. It's Jacob Cortez for now. I will say that. I loved watching him, Navs.
Oh, he was amazing, wasn't he?
He
My God.
he's one of those players na even if you're from the opposing team, you cheer against him, but when he makes a shot, you're just like, what can we do? He's just so good.
Exactly.
Diba?
You know, I have a Jacob versus Mike Cortez hot take I'm saving if Jacob wins another championship in season 89. So I'll keep that in the oven first. I'll let that bake for a bit. With
Whoa.
By the way, now that you criticize the Adamson team, just wait for the Adamson fans and their pitchforks. They tend to get mad online a lot, even if you say they just won't make the final four. But they are a competitive team. With UST naman, yes, they're going towards an extension, SMC and UST. I think it's 2 years, but after the 2 years, that's gonna be it. They still have to sit down and iron out the details. I don't think they've resumed to practices full time yet. Let's see if the entire coaching staff will come back. I think right now they will. And the continuity is good. Now, Coach Pido, I know a lot of people want him gone. He's become kind of like a scapegoat for USC shortcomings over the last 2 years. But when you look at the results, there has been improvement record wise. They just haven't made the finals yet, but they have made the final four, which was his promise to the community. The question for UST is who takes over the leadership mantle on the court? Because it was Nick Cabanero, for better or worse, the last 2 years. It was Fortsky Padrigao to some degree. What I heard early on is many in UST are looking at Mark Lemit to be the guy. And that was surprising because I thought it would be Jello Chrysostom or maybe even Koji Bonaflor. But I think Mark Lemit has the tools. And ultimately, how far UST goes will depend on the improvement, in my opinion, of Colin Sakoe. Because we saw how dominant he is. Can he improve on free throw shooting? Some of the other areas of his game? Can he be more of a defensive force? We shall find out. With NU naman, very quiet like they usually are. They keep things close to vest. One thing I have heard is they're looking at DJ Laconsay, who came from the MCU Supremos in the UCAL, to take over the role that was played by Jolo Manansala. They still have a lot of vets coming back. Palacios coming back. Padrones is coming back. Yumamoy Garcia should take over the point guard responsibilities now that Enriquez isn't there anymore. But we'll find out because the actual basketball on the court will determine. But I am with you, Gab, in terms of thinking that you have to consider the last season disappointment, given it was Jake's last year, and given that they were the number one seed. They looked dominant for so long, and then they faltered down the stretch. Maui, Sam, Mario, how about you guys? What do you guys think?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Gab. I think it's time for these two programs to really assess, diba, if they have the right person at the helm. Uh, Even without the news sa UST, I think if I were UST, I would still be happy with how Coach Pido has transformed the program so far. Remember, remember what this team was, diba, a few seasons ago without Coach Pido, and I think he deserves a little bit of leeway when it comes to that. But with Adamson, you have to ask the question: have we peaked? with Coach Nash. Kasi it's been the same thing season after season. I think this offseason was a glimmer of hope for the coming season 88, but unfortunately, they they used to overperform in previous seasons, but during this season, they underperformed and did not make it to the final four. With the NU, if you were to ask me, maybe this would be the best time to really think if si Coach Jeff ang right person. And it's because their star player just left. Diba? He graduated. Even si Manan Salle is out. Steve Nash is out. So, a very big blow. So, do you want to blow up the program and start anew? You still have some veterans coming back, but you have a lot of young guns. During our talks about NU on our podcast, Boleros, we always talk about the two timelines that they currently have. And the question is, will you prioritize the current timeline or will you go another direction and rebuild with the young guns? I think that would be the best question to answer before even questioning if si Coach Jeff is the right person. If you want to move in another direction, if you want to prioritize the young guns, I would maybe get another coach. Because we all know si Coach Jeff, he has a short leash when it comes to his young players. And he will always prioritize, excuse me, he will always prioritize players who have experience, players who we can trust already. So that's, I think, one of the questions that NU has to ask this offseason.
Mario, if you had to pick one of NU, UST, or Adamson as the team, I know it's early, but as the team you trust the most to be a Final Four contender again in season 89, who would you pick from those three?
I would still go UST. I know that they lost three major players, Fortsky, Nick, and Kyle. But at the same time, kasi they have a lot of young players on that team, and I truly believe, although Colin Zakowe did somewhat struggle, oh hello, did somewhat struggle from in the playoffs. His free throws really is something that need to be talked about. He's still the most dominant force in the UAAP in terms of not just FSAs, but even just the local players in themselves. So I think UST on the back of Colin Zakowe alone could be the most viable path for Final Four. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of Koji Buenaflor. I think Buenaflor. We talked to Koji one time in one of our episodes before the UAAP season started, and they said that he was the next Kevin Durant. I don't know who it was. It was a scout from Korea who said that he was the next KD, according to him, according to Koji. So the young
Are you
core
sure the scout should be a scout? I mean,
that's
no
what he said.
disrespect to
That's
Koji.
what he said.
No disrespect to Koji, who's a great player, but Kevin Durant.
He said he plays like Kevin Durant. We can say Brandon Ingram. It's the same thing. But that's what Koji told us. So I like the young core of Koji plus Mark Lemit is still gonna be there. Jello Crisostomo played really well, specifically against Ateneo this year. So I think UST still has the best pieces, plus Colin Zakowe to make a Final Four push.
I just want to shout out Tito Klets Amos. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Sir Amos, who's also saying that Mason Amos himself wants to say hi to Gab in particular. I want to know the backstory of why. That would be an interesting topic.
Si Sir Colette just doesn't like being criticized, his son being criticized, even if it's fair.
Oh wow! Okay, we got beef. We got beef alert. But hi to Tita, and it's all fun and love the podcasting. Sam, if you could be a coach of one of the three teams, UST, NU, or Adamson, which team would you want to coach the most, and what differences would you make compared to what the current coaches are doing? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I kind of like that question.
Mahirap yun ah.
Oo nga eh. What a question. Sige. If I could be the coach, I have two answers actually. It really depends eh. If I don't want that much pressure and I want to parang build like a Cinderella story for my team, I'm going with Adamson because like if I look at the three teams that we're talking about that Gab talked about, I think it's hard for Adamson to like put all of the blame in Coach Nash because if you compare Adamson to like UST and NU, they probably don't have as much funding as those two teams, diba? Lalo na if you compare them to like the other teams like LaSalle, UP. So I know it's parang make I don't want to make up excuses for Adamson, but dun pa lang they're always at a disadvantage, and I do appreciate Coach Nash always getting the most out of his players, out of his team. You every year they seem to have like a surprise player na parang where did this guy come from, or yung leap nung player na yon from the previous years. I think Gab, you talked about si Ray Allen Torres, diba? Guys like that. Kasi I think Coach Nash really develops or brings out the best in his players. Kasi wala siyang choice eh. He doesn't have as much financial support as the other teams, I would say. So, I think if you want like a underdog story na not that much pressure, but if you succeed, it's going to be magnificent, ganon. Then you go for Adamson, for Coach Nash, kasi it's really about developing players, despite the lack of other resources. But on the other end, diba, if you're a coach, you wanna recruit the best players, then you have to go with the team like UST or NU. In this case, I would say I'd go with NU just because UST probably has the support of SMC now, but after 2 years, baka wala na. Nabs, you mentioned it earlier, diba? So, there's a lot of uncertainty long term for a team like UST. If I'm the coach of UST, parang do I just want to keep my job for 2 years? Parang ayoko, diba? So, I would go with NU. At least you have the support of SM long term. Probably not as maybe aggressive as an SMC, but I think still very solid team. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going with.
Okay, quick true or false here. And because Sam, I agree with you that Coach Nash often does a great job. One of our commenters said it, punch above their weight class, right? He builds a system that makes the game a possession battle. There's a lot of spacing and ball movement for Adamson. It's almost like Adamson forces you to play their style so they can give themselves the best chance to win. But true or false, it's time to stop Coach Nash. It's time to stop hearing Coach Nash complain about the referees every single season. Quick true or false? From all of you. Let's start with you,
True.
Mario.
It's true. It's true. I would say it's not even just Coach Nash. There's a whole lot of coaches who we can go down the line with, but it's true.
Absolutely. Thank you. By the way, Matthew Lee, the owner of Tiebreaker Times, is tuning into this episode. Shout out to Matthew. He just messaged me personally. He's like, Navs, throw this question to the boys. Who from the NCAA do you want to see in the UAAP? Aha! I see that Matt is getting to one of our topics later on. Matt,
Oh my
we
God.
will tackle that in a little bit. First, question number 2. This one was from Nico originally, but like I said, Nico is enjoying his sangria, so Mario is here to show his animal spirit, shall we say. What are DLSU's chances at going back to back? Mario, we'll start with you. How do you feel LaSalle will do in season 89?
First of all, I hope the Ateneo fans out there don't ask for my head after this. But I truly believe DLSU has probably the best shot, if not the second best shot, of going back of winning the championship next season. You barely lost players. You only lost Mike Phillips, right? Although only is a word to use, pero a lot of players are there to step up. We still barely saw LeBron Daep in his rookie season. He's supposed to be really good. Mason is coming back for another year. Kian is gonna be healthier this season, same as Mason. You have Jacob Cortez, who proved that he's not hanggang NCAA lang. May mga nagsasabi na hanggang NCAA lang si Jacob. This season, he absolutely proved na pang UAAP din siya. So, I think DLSU has a very, very good chance of repeating. Coach Topex at the head of the snake is completely tough to beat, especially I don't know if we noticed this from last season. So 2 seasons ago when DLSU lost, and yes, I will bring that up. I'm sorry, Navs. When DLSU lost, he made that mistake of not being able to sub KQ back into the game. In this season, he did not even allow for that mistake to be a possibility in those fourth quarters. He's actively learning as he continues to coach. And I'm reading the comment section at the same time. Somebody commented Escriva Rock said LP9. Yes, Luis Pablo will continue to develop into the player that UP didn't let him be. So I truly expect for DLSU to be able to have a good chance of repeating next season.
Maui, true or false? LaSalle remains the favorite as of this moment, even if they don't have Mike Phillips anymore.
Oh, if you were to ask me, I would agree with Mario. Diba? Losing Mike Phillips was a big thing. But remember, all the other schools are losing big names too. Diba? In Cavs terms, UP is losing the Maroon 4+1. Those are very big names and very hard to replicate. Diba? UP has been a very good program because of continuity. Ateneo used to be a good program with Coach Tab because of the continuity. That's a huge advantage, especially with the current landscape of the UAAP when players leave early, when players transfer to other teams. Getting that sense of continuity is a big thing. And with LaSalle, you're basically getting the same core from the last season. I mean, the top 8 guys playing minutes are probably still gonna be 7 out of 8 of the top 8 guys who are gonna get minutes the coming season. And one of the players, my question, I will tackle my question later. Maybe I'll talk about him later. Is the breakout of a player like Boris Marasigan, who I think could be a crucial piece in the future for LaSalle. So yeah, definitely LaSalle, and I would say na diretso na natin UP. LaSalle and UP are still the favorites for next season, let's be honest.
Do you guys believe that LaSalle and UP are still the favorites? Let us know in the comments. Now, just some context. One of my main questions with my sources from LaSalle after the season ended. Well, of course, pinacelebrate ko muna sila ng championship. Masarap yung kape sa umaga pag champion. So after a few mornings, Cooper's Coffee House, exactly. I did ask though. So, you're losing Mike Phillips, right? And it came down to this. The loss of Mike Phillips on the court is obviously huge. But like you said, Maui, they have a lot of veterans coming back. Earl Abadam said he's coming back. Same for Mason, same for Kian, same for EJ Goliena, same for Luis Pablo, JC Macalalag, so on and so on. You're also expecting improvement from Daep, Kines, some of the younger guys, maybe Melencio if he can stay healthy. So there's a lot of talent there. Now, they have 3 FSA options: Henry Agunane, Adams, and Mo. Agunane is the best choice from all of them, also because we've seen Henry. But Henry recently, I believe, aggravated his knee injury again, and he suffered a torn ACL injury previously. So whether or not he's healthy in time for the season, of course, is going to be the biggest question. If you can get 70 to 75% of what Phillips was doing on the court, that you can live with that because of what I said. You have other talented players, you still have a deep roster and a great coach. The bigger question for me, and people from LaSalle agree with me on this, is you're losing the culture setter when you lose Mike Phillips. You're losing the guy who will keep everyone in line in the locker room, make sure everyone is following the system in the place, make sure that no one's head gets too big, make sure that everyone stays humble, make sure that everyone's faith remains strong. Now, the leadership responsibility will fall on Earl Abadam and EJ Goliena. They are expected to be the captains next season, and Earl was already a co-captain for season 88. I do think they have the ability to keep everyone in check, everyone in line, but Mike Phillips is irreplaceable in more ways than one. And I feel there will be a learning curve there for DLSU. But ultimately, in terms of talent on the court, they are probably still the deepest team in the UAP. Now, we'll have to see how UP plays with Payosing, with Pre, with Miles coming in. There's a lot of pieces they have to integrate, and that's why the offseason will be important for UP in particular, in my opinion. But LaSalle probably the most talented team right now still. Gab, what do you think?
I agree with Maui. For now, it's still LaSalle and UP that are the favorites. I think they have the deepest rosters in the UAAP. Now, the question that you posed, Navs, about Mike Phillips leaving, that is really something we have to watch for the offseason. Because I think nearly every position, they have a surefire rotation. They have a surefire locked in guys who are going to play in the rotation already. The center slot is something that they're going to have to figure out. As you said, maybe si Agunan is the quote unquote proven one, although I don't know if there were a lot of frustrated LaSalle fans when Agunane played. So I don't know if they would consider him a proven commodity, but we've seen him in the UAAP. I do think he does have a good skill set. Just have to tinker around the edges, his free throw shooting, his butterfingers, what else? His fouling, his tendency to go one on one all the time. So there is some improvements that need to be done. See, Mandiria, I think, is the other one. I like him. I like his length. I like the rim protection that he provides, his instincts around the rim. So I think it's gonna be between the two of them. See, Adams, I'm iffy on him. I'm more, if they're gonna pick two FSAs, I think they will probably be better off with Agonani and Mandiria. Now, whoever they choose to be the main FSA, or the guy they play constantly, I doubt coaches will alternate bigs, diba? Yung from game to game. I don't think that's gonna be a good strategy chemistry wise. But yeah, for UP, just chemistry. How are all of these pieces from different teams gonna mesh with the core that's coming back? Namely, Stevens, Alter, Remogat, and all those guys. And also for UP, are they really going to quote unquote bench Noruka after he was their best player in the finals? Is getting a one and done player like Deontay Miles enough to put Noruka to the side? Because Noruka was great. I thought Noruka
He
played
was.
really really well. So it's the same thing with Mo Konate. Are you really gonna put him aside for Shelton after he made the mythical five? Diba? So UP has to answer the same question. Noruka was downright good, great in the second round and in the final. So that would be crazy to me if they choose Miles to be their main center over Francis Noruka.
Gab, I think a lot of people share your sentiment about Naruka. Now, about Naruka, I've never seen anyone dunk on Phillips the way Naruka did. I never saw a player attack Phillips the way Naruka did and succeed. But we also have to remember Naruka had some immature decision making that led to some bad plays for UP in the eliminations and finals. About Miles though, here's what I'm gonna say. The first time you watch him in the off season with the UP team, just watch how quickly he gets down the court. He's still an NCAA Div 1 talent, and people who know UP basketball right now, all they're saying is just watch Miles. Just watch what Deontay Miles is going to do. I don't want to overcook it, but I'm very excited to see how he's going to perform once UP is back in action. Sam, when you look at the LaSalle roster, obviously we know what to expect from Cortez. But other than him, who do you see taking the biggest leap from 88 to 89?
Uh, Honestly, I think it has to be the younger guys, Kines or Daip, and probably it's probably one of the guys like Pablo. I think Pablo is the safe answer, but for me, one of those two guys, si Daep and Kines, has to take a huge leap next season because this team is getting a bit too old for me. Um, it's veteran heavy for next season, which I think is why they would also be my favorites for next season. But you also have to look out for the future of Lasal, diba? I always like to think about like the long term plan of the team. So for me, if I'm Coach Topex, I have to look at like the younger guys. Sila yung top recruits kasi that came to join LaSalle this year, si Daep and Kine. So one of those two guys have to take a big leap, or they have to pan out, so we can secure the future of LaSalle, or at least they have a smooth transition once the vets start leaving. But um, I think if you wanna go with like a safe or obvious answer, I think it's Luis Pablo, because he already showed that leap halfway through the season. So I think he still has more to show next season, especially if he develops like a three or tighter ball handling.
When you say leap, I think you meant literally because he was leaping out of the court in that final. Some of those blocks, insane. I have a funny story I want to share. I'm not sure if people will get mad at me for sharing this, but what the hell? People get mad at me every day anyway. Um, remember, VJ Pre was supposed to go to LaSalle, right? And it was, here's how close it was to happening. There was one point that the entire, not the entire, but most of the LaSalle guys in the roster, Phillips, Pablo, all these guys traveled to VJ's home area in Pampanga for like the final process before he decided to join UP. And some players in LaSalle were, I think understandably quite mad. They felt like they were led on. And someone, well, Luis Pablo told something to someone, and what I heard, what he said was, "Huwag kayong mag-alala kay VJ, ako babantay dyan." So that's a matchup I'm very excited to watch come season 89.
You're starting beef this early?
Oh nga, Navs.
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, we love the competition, right? We love the competition on the court. But that's
And
also
he's
a
one of the best
segue.
defenders of LaSalle, si LP9.
Absolutely. I mean, he was defending FSAs, di ba? After all those guys got injured. Sam's question for the offseason, how will a new look UP stand out? So Sam, take the floor.
Yeah, sakto, 'di ba? Because Sina Mario talked about LaSalle's chances of going back to back. I think for the off season, I'm interested in looking at the other team that made it to the finals. Kaya I'm wearing my maroon Boleros shirt because I wanted to talk about UP. I think this is going to be a huge off season for UP. I know they've made it. Si Coach Gold has been very successful with his program in UP. They've made it to the finals ever since he joined. But I think one of the biggest things that's going to be different for him this coming season is he's not going to have his NU Bullpups kids anymore, diba? You have to understand, like ever since he joined, he was with the essentially the Maroon 5 plus in Carl Tamayo. And the Maroon 5 or the NU Bullpups have been what with Coach Gold for the past 8, 10 years. They've been playing with each other, or they've been together since their high school days. So, iba yung level nung chemistry and dynamics nila. So, how is this team going to look like next season without Coach Gold's Maroon 5 or his NU Bullpup kids? I think that's going to be an interesting storyline to look at. But if you're a UP fan, you shouldn't. Should you be worried? Hell no. You shouldn't. I think Gab, you mentioned it. You still have the main core from the season 88 team, diba? You still have Ray Mogat who showed up during the finals. You still have Gani Stevens, you still have Naruka, who I also believe should be their main center. I don't know. We'll see once we get to see Miles. You also have Gani Stevens and Jacob Baila coming back to the team. So you have a ton of talent already as part of your core, and then you're going to bring in a ton of recruits. Rainier Maga, si Payosing, and obviously, I think potentially a potential MVP candidate in VJ Pre. I mean, it's still going to be a very talented and deep roster for UP, and I'm sure hindi naman sila talent wise hindi sila ganun ka nalalayo from LaSalle's team, but yeah, you have like other storylines which makes this UP off season so interesting. Like how do these new guys like gel with the core of UP? How will VJ Pre and Remogat work well together? I think it's going to look good, but we'll see, diba? Kasi si Remogat needed time to adjust. So will VJ Pre need time to adjust? You obviously people have been hyping up Andy Hemao, diba? Bring him home daw. So si Andy Hemao, is he going to come home to UP and play for them? And I think you guys mentioned it. The FSA watch for UP. Naruka versus Miles. Who is it going to be? That's something I'm going to watch out for this offseason.
Gab, am I crazy to think that Jacob Baylor is going to be the ultimate key to determine whether or not UP remains a championship contender? Because we mentioned Miles, we mentioned Naruka, we mentioned Remogat, we mentioned VJ Pre. James Payosing, who I heard is playing more point guard right now for UP. But it feels like LaSalle had the glue guy in Makalalag, Abadam, and we saw how important those guys were come the Final Four. Is Jacob Baylor Taylor fit for that role? Is he suited for that role to kind of keep things together? And by the way, I think Jacob might end up being team captain next season for UP as well.
Yeah, I love Jacob Baila's game. I think he can fit that role of a glue guy. I actually think he has more to give offensively. They just don't run any plays for him. Again, they have a lot of mouths to feed, but um, if he's going to unlock the UP fighting, and I say unlock with some quote unquote. I mean, they've made the finals for 5 straight seasons, so they don't have to unlock anything. But if they want a chance to win the championship and make it to the finals again, I do think they have to play Jacob Baila more and run more offense through Jacob Baila. I do think he has a lot more to give. I do think he has a very good offensive skill set. He can go to the basket. He can play one-on-one. We haven't seen him run pick and roll or run any offense through him, essentially, because he plays with Alarcon and Remogat. I'm not sure how Coach Gold is going to balance that this season. They have a ton of guys. And this is something I've said throughout the past preseason. They have so many guys that they need to play. Ogana, is he going to be in the rotation? Pre, I assume is gonna
I
start.
forgot about Ogana.
Diba? Si Russell Ogana. Chico Briones, I still think he's gonna be there. And he's now in his 4th season and he's been on the for God knows how long already. So is he going to fight for playing time? Is he gonna get more playing time? Si Rainier Maga, is he gonna be a backup point guard or a shooting guard next to Remoga? Marami. But yeah, to answer your question now, I do think they have to unlock a bit of Jacob Baila. He can't be just a defensive stopper forever. That's been his role since last season. He's always been the defensive stopper guy. They put him on KQ last season. They put him on Jacob Cortez this season. But they essentially don't mind him on offense. They don't run anything through him. Diba? He's a spot-up shooter. That's it. But I think he has more to give. Whether they're willing to give him a bit of the keys to the offense, a bit lang, because there's si Remogat is still there. Whether they allow him to use his offensive skill set more, that's something I'm watching.
Absolutely. And let's remember, Jacob Baylor was a star for his high school team in California. He was averaging 18, 19 points a game. Now, he has a decent mid-range. He has a good slashing game. The three-point shot is what he really needs to work on, because some games you see defenses just spacing away from him, being like, if you're going to beat us with three-point shooting, then you're going to beat us with three-point shooting. But there's a slashing game there, an ability to get to the foul line, transition, that I really want to see unpacked. I feel like Jacob needs a good point guard with him to set him up. A lot of times he's kind of better off ball on the move. So let's see if UP can make that happen. Maui, this came to my mind. It got me curious. If one or both of LaSalle and UP don't make the finals next year, which teams do you want to see there?
Patay tayo dyan.
Patay tayo dito.
Tanong pa ba yan?
Grabe.
Tanong pa ba yan, Maui?
Napaka-
Only one answer. There's only there's a proper answer here.
Napakaaga pa. But siyempre, coming from the blue side, I would want Ateneo to get back to the Final Four first, and then hopefully they get the finals. But I think from this season, I think UST is something that some is the team that I want to get to the finals. Si Gab and Sam, no. The second team I usually root for is in the UAAP's UST ever since. Kasi I really get mesmerized with how they cheer, how the team plays, so many wing players. For some reason, it's always been UST that has that combination. And if you were to ask me two teams, maybe Ateneo and UST. Just because I think both crowds are creeping or praying already to get to the finals and eventually try to get a ring. I think UST has wanted one for the longest time, and I think siyempre Ateneo fans who were spoiled so much also want to get a ring, especially since with Coach Tab, who we don't know how many years will he stay. Diba? Will he stay even after this extension? Will he even leave before the end of the contract? I don't know. Anything can happen. But I would want, definitely. Diba? If you were to ask me, tawagin na nila akong bias, but I'm honest. I want Ateneo back in the finals.
So my early hot take is I don't think we're gonna have a LaSalle UP finals rematch. And the biggest reason why is because I think FEU will crash the party. I think
Yun yung pick
FEU
ni
will
Gab.
crash the party.
Pwede FEU.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think it will be either FEU UP or FEU LaSalle, depending on how the standings shake out. Now, I really, 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 really hope everyone stays in FEU. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise right now, but I'm knocking on wood anyway because my prediction counts on it. Here's what's crazy. Did you guys know Kirby Moncopa had his season last year despite not having a 100% healthy ACL? And he was
I am
already
not
pretty damn
surprised.
good.
With the way he
Remember-
ran,
Yeah. Remember, he had the motorcycle incident. They had to insert a metal rod in there. And, when you insert, sa probinsya pa ginawa yung operation, di ba? So, they don't have the access like we might have in Manila or other countries. And let's just say the knee wasn't 100%, and yet he was very impressive. That's why I think this is going to lead into Maui's question later about breakout players. I think Kirby is going to be one of them. Mario, real quick, sino yung mas nakakainis? LaSalle fans o UP fans online?
Oh, dang. I don't, what? Whoa.
ayaw niya
Grabe
sasagot
yung
yun.
question sa'yo, Mario.
Wow. Why does Mario get
On
the
the spot.
I
hardest
feel like the questions
questions?
that are being thrown to me.
Trial by fire!
I will just say I'll give the PR answer. Both fans are very passionate about their teams. UP fans specifically, they will live and die by their teams, and DLSU fans at the same time. I've seen them literally go into a fight just to defend their team. So either
Mario, I'll change the question. If you could
Alright,
hang out in a bar on a Saturday night with LaSalle fans or UP fans, who are you hanging out with?
Who am I hanging out with? Well, I would say the DLSU ones because they're probably gonna pick up the tab. But I would say that I think the DLSU fans are a little calmer than the UP fans, if you ask me. So in terms of like having a calm night, I'd go with the DLSU fans. But if I want to cause some trouble, I'd go with the UP fans.
What kind of trouble are you looking to cause? Are you gonna take one of Ateneo's premier players?
Oh boy, hey, not something I can say right now, but there's gonna be some trouble coming up sooner rather than later. We all know it's coming in the off season.
Napaka-showbiz mo daw sumagot sa Mario.
Yeah, man.
But you know what?
I gotta say,
I love it.
We have some thoughts here from Tito Klets. Every other team has lost their veteran player, but LaSalle has its core intact, which is an advantage. With the new FSAs on board, they should be able to replace the 15 rebounds that Phillips contributed. FEU top 4. I do think FEU makes the finals. All right, let's get to Maui's question. Top 5 breakout players to watch out for. Maui, the floor is yours.
Yeah, actually when I was thinking about this, I was already thinking about the off season. Diba? Kasi if you're a UAAP fan, usually you want to look forward to the off season. And I think this is the off season that we've seen a lot of teams, specifically the top teams, UP, LaSalle, really lose a lot of players. Diba? So maraming players will get opportunity. Even UST, who lost some of their key veterans this season. So I wanted to talk about not really breakout players, but 5 players I'm excited to watch out for, or 5 players who I think could make the leap. So I just listed 5 names. I think the easiest one is my first one. I think si Crisostomo from UST will definitely take the leap. I thought nung off season he was already starting to make the leap, but when they got into full health, yung usage niya was hindered, and then we didn't see the full extent of the Crisostomo breakout. I think his teammates Lemit could also have an argument. My number 2 name is Ray Allen Torres from the Adamson Soaring Falcons. We saw his breakout last season. Can he bring it to another level and become pro ready? Because I think he's pretty old already as a player. I think the next season will be very important for his pro chances, because next season he will definitely be part of the top of the list of the scouting reports of teams. Next will come from the LaSalle Green Archers. As much as I want to say Amos or Baclaan or even Cortez or Pablo, these 4 are so proven. I'm gonna go with my favorite, the one that I think embodies being a LaSalle player, from from Mark Cardona to a Ryan Aranya to a CJ Austria. We get a Boris Marasigan. So I think if you were a LaSalle fan, you'd probably love and hate him at the same time. So yeah, I think si Boris Marasigan is somebody to watch out for.
Maui, you mean almost UP Fighting Maroon, Boris Marasigan? And almost UP Fighting Maroon, Doy Dungo, who
That's
last minute
crazy.
changed their
That's
minds.
crazy.
Go on, Maui. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and the last name that I would name is somebody who got injured this season, who I thought could have had a very good season. And siyempre, we're from the blue side. I have to mention si Jared Bahay, who I think, crossing my fingers and knocking on wood, will have a fully healthy season finally this coming season. I think people will eat their words for those saying that Jared Bahay is overrated. I think he showed glimpses this season of just how much he could be for a team like Ateneo, and just how important he could be for a Final Four or championship contender. So those 5 guys are the ones that I will be really looking at this off season.
I like it. I agree with you in Voris. He's one of my 5. Waki Manuel walked so Voris Marasigan could run. Voris Marasigan also. Voris Marasigan. Here's my early take. I think Voris Marasigan will lead LaSalle in scoring next season. He's gonna be the top point getter for the
Wow.
Green Archers. I think so. With that big body, he's gonna get to the free throw line a lot. And he has a reliable jump shot, as we saw. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when it's time to get clutch, he tends to level his game up a little bit. I'm gonna go Jacob Baila next for UP. I think he's gonna take a leap. I think in the locker room and on the floor, he's gonna remain a great defensive player, but he's also gonna remind everyone why he was a top-notch offensive recruit. For Adamson, I think we kind of saw him already. No, not Erelon. I was gonna go Erelon, but I think Medina will take a bigger step next season. I think we saw some signs in the off season, but when it came to the UAAP, there were some deer in the headlights moments there. But I think he's gonna improve on that. From NU, I think Reynard Umamoy, with more minutes and more playing time, is going to show that he can be a lead guard for a Final Four contender. And then, I mean, FEU's young guys, kasi we all know how good they are, di ba? No one would really surprise us as a breakout star. So, and we already talked about Mark Lemit, but we also know how good he is. So I'm gonna go Koji Winiflor, and I know it's kind of asinine to say that to some degree because He was a star for high school, but I think he's gonna be a college star in his second year. Mario, who are your top five breakout
Sorry,
candidates?
sorry,
Go for it, Maui. Go.
I
Oh,
forgot to say one of the five names. The other one was Kirby Moncopa, who you
there you go.
coincidentally mentioned a while ago. Go ahead,
Exactly.
Mario.
Actually, I'm just gonna like I have the same as Maui here. Kirby Moncopa is one of the people I'm looking at to have another break. I have another breakout year. Same as Navs, Koji Buenaflor, who I said kanina, and you guys hated on me for saying it. Who said that he's the next Kevin Durant? For the Philippine Kevin Durant. So I think Koji Buenaflor is also on his way there. Then my next three, I have Seven Gagate for DLSU. I think it's a great place. I'm not sure if he's playing next season or in 90, but if he's playing next season, I truly believe Seven Gagate will make a difference. He is not at the level of Mike Phillips, not even close. Pero the way he plays, he's developed the jump shot. He's learning how to rebound. He's learning how to drive the basketball. Seven, I think, is going to be pretty good. Um, Number four, James Payosing for UP. I believe he's going to have the same effect that Jacob Cortez had, where people are questioning whether can an NCAA player do this well in the UAAP. I think Payosing might have the opportunity to do the same. And then number five, I'm bringing it back to the Blue Eagles. I think Kyle Gamber is ready for a breakout season. He was supposed to have it this year. But Dom Escobar, Jaden Lazo, those additions kind of blocked that opportunity for him. But I believe now, since there are no one and dones, I believe Kyle Gamber may have an opportunity to have a breakout season.
You mean on
I love
TikTok?
Kyle Gamber love. I love the Kyle
Brother,
Gamber love.
I'm going with Kyle Gamber. I could have said Waki Espina, but I went Kyle Gamber.
Legit question: who would win one on one? Kyle Gamber or Kaiowani?
Oh, dang. Well, honestly,
I think Kyle would win, but Kai would like give him a challenge.
Kai Owani would light it up, though. I'm not gonna lie. She's a hell of a shooter. But I
She's a
still think Kyle
dog,
would
bro.
win.
She's a dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
The thing with Gamber is he's a great shooter. We saw it in the off season. I really thought after Asia Basket he was gonna carve a role. It's the defense and the rebounding. If he can improve those two, I'm with you, Mario. He's got breakout player written all over him. I think we have to see that in the off season though. Sam, go next. Who are your five breakout candidates?
I think you guys mentioned most of them. Moncopa, Baila, I actually went with Waki sa Ateneo if I had to pick one from Ateneo. The others, sino pa ba? I think they were mentioned na eh. But I think dun sa guys na yun, we talked about Baila. I'm really high on Baila. You talked about culture setters, Naveen, for Lasal na wala si Mike Phillips. I think for UP, that was like Jerry Abadiano, a guy like Jerry Abadiano. I think Baila has the potential to be a culture setter for UP. So I agree with Gab with what he said about Baila earlier. I think he has a chance to to have a bigger role for UP, and I hope he gets a chance.
Someone said Nico Muling Tapang. However, I think he might be in the
He's
NCAA
moving,
by
diba?
next season. We'll see. Yeah. I heard early on he might go to CSB, but that might change. We shall see what will happen. Gab, how about have you given your five breakout guys yet, Gab?
Not yet. I agree with Maui. When I look at breakout players, I always look for opportunity. Do they have the opportunity to break out? Diba? So obviously the two guys in UST are poised for breakout seasons because a lot of usage went out the window with Fordsky Paranada and Nick Cabanero all graduating. So Mark Liemet, I well, we saw Mark Liemet in the past off season when Nick Cabanero was and Fordsky Paranada was not on the floor. He was scoring 20 points a game. He was doing a lot of the ball handling, a lot of the playmaking. I think you're going to see that from Mark Liemet. Jello Cosmo, again, tons of opportunity to get the ball, tons of opportunity to score and shoot. Obvious. For FEU, I don't see any breakout. I'm not counting Kirk Cobb as a breakout player because I think he already kind of broke out in his rookie season. He was already pretty good. I'm not counting anyone there. Joric is still back, so their rotation is still gonna be intact. Um, I'm gonna go with Jared Bahay also. We saw him deliver in the clutch multiple times already in season 88. Just has to find that consistency throughout the game, but the skill set all there, the passing all there. So I'm gonna pick him for LaSalle. I do think si Luis Pablo's gonna take over the starting role. I think he's earned it with the way he played in the finals. I think he's gonna start. I think he's gonna get a lot more minutes, and so I'm picking him. And for my fifth one, I gotta go with someone from UP. I just don't know who. I have to see their rotation because a lot of guys left, but I don't know who's gonna take on the minutes that were left by the five guys. So maybe si Baila, but that depends on his role. Again, he's a defensive stopper. Are they gonna give him the ball more? That's something. And you could pencil in someone from UE because that's land of opportunity, as we on Boleros always say. Just find someone who can actually put the ball in the basket. He will probably have a breakout season.
Dylan Despy, time for your tryout. Come on up.
Maybe. I was impressed by him, Navs. I like him.
I mean, the thing is also Despy's represented by Phenom Sports Management, Anthony Brodette, who I would call one of the most passionate, outspoken recruiters and managers in college basketball right now. But Despy does have a lot of talent. I agree with you, Gab. There's some excitement there. Quickly,
Can I
I
just
got a
ask
question. Go
Sorry,
lang,
guys.
Mario. Yeah.
To the other three Ateneans here, am I the only one who chose Gamber? Was I the only one?
Yeah, Mario, I will tell you this
I like
about Kyle
the
Gamber.
pick. I like the
Oh,
balls.
I like the policy pick. I'm just not sure. I that he get a ton of minutes. I think Espina has established himself at the shooting guard position, and I think see Sean Moyne is gonna take over the starting small forward position. So to back up those two, maybe you'll get Gamble again. Ateneo has so many perimeter players. They have Nieto coming back. Sino I'm thinking of I'm blanking of where si Bongo I think is still there. So I don't know if he'll have to shoot the way the lights out
I got
if
you.
he wants to get a ton of minutes.
Yo,
I
is
got
no one gonna pick Kyle Ong?
No comment, buddy.
Lars,
Is he still
Mabang.
gonna be there?
Lars Yelvan.
Lars na lang.
Lars
Lars
Pielbang, exactly.
Well, man.
Let's go, Lars.
But
I'm
shout out to
with
my
you,
guy.
Mario.
And
I was
go lang,
I
Greg,
was
go lang.
hyped on Gamber nung off-season din.
I think
Yeah,
we
a
all
lot
were.
of people were. Yeah,
We all were.
7 threes in one game, right?
Exactly.
Or like 6.
Best
Man.
shooter in Asia basket. The best shooter in the Asia basket. I thought it was
Best
I thought it was-
shooter in Asia, bro. He looked like the best shooter in Asia at one point. Enzo Rubio, another Atenean right now, saying si Despy magdedespedida na sa Uis.
Can't UE catch a break just for once?
Grabe ka naman, Enzo.
Enzo, you just gave me the headline for an article. In case he does leave, Dylan nagdespedida. By the way,
Maawa na kayo sa
Fortsky
UE. Maawa na kayo sa UE.
Fortsky Padrigao tuning into the episode right now. Shout out to UAAP champion Fortsky Padrigao with the Ateneo Blue Eagles. And by the way, I wonder what would have happened in the Final Four if Fortsky had the ball in those final seconds against UP. A what-if moment to think about, right? And Fortsky says, Despy, a heady point guard. So, one of a champion UAP point guard giving props and flowers to a point guard on the rise. All right, so we're gonna take questions from our listeners, but we have one more question to tackle, shall we say, which is the question that the moment this podcast started, everyone wanted to know right away. Is this the year the Sun Beda Red Lions join the UAAP? All right. I'm gonna do some reporting here right now. I wrote an article about this during the holidays where I kind of tackled what would be the questions involved if Sanbeda does want to move to the UAAP. Now, the first thing we have to consider is there's obviously an entrance fee if Sanbeda does want to join. And given the valuation, given the total branding, monetization, advertising, ticket sales, basta everything involved monetary wise with the UAAP, it is a high price to join the UAAP. Next, if Sanbeda does try to join or does want to join the UAP, it will come down to a vote of the current members. I don't know this for a fact, but I think they would need at least 7 votes. Will that happen? If it does come to a vote, we'll see. Now, if you ask a lot of Sanbeda people, is it gonna happen soon? They tend to be confident. A lot of them are confident that it's on the way to happening. If you ask the UAAP people, on the other hand, they're like, teka lang, slow down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. Now, there's also an internal debate. Should Sanbeda join in season 90 instead of 89? If they do join. And there are 2 pieces of criticism I heard, although unconfirmed for now, so through the grapevine. One is another UAAP school, I won't say who, but maybe you guys can figure it out. This is gonna sound so bad, but this is what I actually heard. One UAAP school or a representative of that UAAP school told me, we're not sure about the crowd behavior of the Sanbeda fans if they do join. I know a lot of Sanbeda fans will take offense to that, and they should. They're one of the proudest fan bases and institutions in the Philippines. Do with that what you want to. Second, there are concerns that if Sanbeda enters, Manny V. Pangilinan will have 2 teams that he supports in the UAAP, and the term ayaw namin maging PBA ang UAAP has been thrown there, which I think is far from happening. I don't think that's gonna actually happen because there are many other teams. But those are the 2, well, you know, 2 kind of controversial counters I've heard. There are other questions too, like, can Sanbeda compete in every sport right away? Because let's not forget, the UAP is not just men's basketball. Women's basketball, boys basketball. You have sports like fencing, you have athletics. Now, Sanbeda wouldn't be required to compete in all right away, but they would need to compete in major sports like basketball, like volleyball, like athletics. But yeah, it's a wait and see process right now. There will be meetings to tackle it more in the coming weeks, maybe coming months. But again, it's pretty split because every time you ask people from Sanbeda if they think it's happening, they're pretty confident it is. In fact, if you watch some of their celebrations after winning the NCAA championship, a lot of them were confident in an extravagant manner. But then a lot of people from the UAP are also saying, teka lang, we're not quite there yet. So, gents, I'll start with you, Maui. Sanbeda to the UAAP, is it time? Is it time to make it happen?
Yeah, ang daming moving factors as you mentioned. But if I were a basketball fan, I would say yes, because the UAP is the premier basketball league in the Philippines, not just non-pro or pro. I would say even more so than the PBA. Other people could probably have some arguments, but just look at what the people who are invested. Just look at how invested people are. Just look at the crowds that watch the games. You can't say that anything goes even close to that in any basketball. Maybe Gilas, but that's different because that's the national team. Everybody's rooting for the same team. Yeah, let's see what happens. But if I were a basketball fan, I would wish Sanbeda and maybe some of the other teams from the NCAA to get to the UAAP. But so many factors, diba? Will we increase the number of games? Will we tweak the system, the round robin system? Kasi that's something that happened in the NCAA when they increased teams. Just so many factors. So I don't know if it's even possible or doable for 89. Maybe for 90, or siguro if you're really a realist, I would say 95. Give it some more time, di ba, for the league to adjust, for everyone to adjust. I don't know. Can they make all the adjustments in a season or two? So let's see.
They want to. Someone from San Beda told me if they make us wait even 1 year, what's gonna happen to all our scholarships? What's the point of all the coaches' salaries we're paying, the allowances we're giving, and all that? But you're right. That is a talking point because the UAP is a totally different ballgame. Now we should also remember the NCAA's contract with GMA has ended, and from what I heard, that's not exactly gaining positive momentum right now. Imagine the NCAA going to the bargaining table without San Beda as part of it. So that's why it's also a little tricky. There are rumors San Beda Alabang could replace San Beda if it comes down to it. Let's see if there's any fruition to that. But Gab, from a competitive standpoint, just the basketball aficionados that we are, just the thought of San Beda against Ateneo or La Salle in the Final Four, I mean, that sounds freaking amazing, doesn't it?
Oh, there's a rich history there. My dad has told me all of the stories of San Beda Ateneo games in the NCAA back in the 70s. But yeah, I think San Beda should push for it. And I think the UAP should be open to it, to add another school. I mean, why not? Yes, the amount of sports that they participate in, it might be a hurdle, but I think San Beda competes in, yeah, sakto yung comment dito. I think San Beda already competes in a lot of major sports. So I don't think that would be a problem. Yeah, it's time to expand. We've always said the UAP season is too short. Add another team and we'll have more games and we'll have to extend the season. So, yeah, let's bring it on. San Beda, I'm not worried about the crowd, about the quote unquote behavior of the crowd. I think eventually that will normalize, and that, I don't think anyone wants to see people get beat up. That's diba? With social media and everything nowadays, that's not gonna fly. So, yeah, bring San Beda on. Why wait for 90? Do it now.
Kung kinaya ng Ateneo and Lasal magbago sa UAAP, di ba? Maybe San Beda can also, the crowd will learn.
Mario, sample nga ng Indian Yell dyan.
Oh, I don't know the Indian Yell, if I'm being honest with you. I have not stayed for that one.
I'm just playing with you. Mario, which matchup would excite you most if San Beda joins the UAAP?
I think it has to be San Beda UP, is it not? Or because a few players from the San Beda program transferred to UP, like Payosing, like what we mentioned before, and then Sean Torculas, if I'm remembering it correctly, I think he's in San Beda now, or he's transferring to San Beda, or was meant to transfer to San Beda. But just in terms of the crowd itself, like you mentioned a while ago, a UP versus San Beda crowd or would be so fun to hear. It would be one of the loudest, if not the loudest. Maybe UST and San Beda would go against that. But San Beda UST, San Beda UP matchups would be really fun. Obviously, I will say San Beda Ateneo because as an Ateneo fan, but it really depends. Another thing that matters to this is San Beda gonna stay intact moving forward? We know there are so many rumors out there about players transferring out of San Beda into the UAAP, other players from other NCAA schools. So it also matters on how this off-season transpires to see what matchups will really be fun.
Sam, so there's a key player in the middle of all of this. His name is John T. Miller. Noted UAAP spectator, avid UAAP fan, John T. Miller. Let's get this out of the way. If San Beda stays in the NCAA, there's 0% chance, barring a miracle, that John T. Miller will be back with the San Beda Red Lions. The guy hates the NCAA. I don't have to report that to you guys. All you have to do is check out these IG stories and you're going to figure that out. If San Beda enters the UAAP for season 89, John T. Miller is staying a Red Lion. Why? He wants to play in the UAAP. He doesn't need to do residency. He can play in the UAP right away. That's a big selling point. If San Beda does not join the UAAP, there are four schools right now who I know are very interested in Jonty. Two most interested ones are LaSalle and UP, and kind of in the playground in case there's an opening are Ateneo and FEU. So, Sam, the question here is, what would you do if you're John T. Miller?
Wow. Um, that's a tough one. I think it depends on what John T. Miller is looking for, diba? I think he's already an NCAA champion. So if he wants to be a champion, he has to look at which teams are going to be solid contenders for the succeeding season. Assuming San Beda does not move to the UAAP, diba? So he's going to skip a season and then join the team in season 90. So I'm looking at the teams that are what the teams will look like in season 90. I think the obvious ones would be LaSalle and UP. They've been to the finals the past few seasons. Uh LaSalle kasi they're losing a lot of players after season 89 ba, like sina Baklaan. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for him to like get minutes and be the superstar there. So if he wants to be the superstar there, then I think he goes to LaSalle. If he wants maybe a more sure core of like playing with a guy like VJ Pred, then maybe he would go to UP. Personally, um, syempre ako, UP Ateneo ako. So, I want him to go to UP, or maybe I think he needs to go to Ateneo or FEU. Personally, I think he needs to go to Ateneo or FEU because gusto ko ng parity. I don't want all the stars to go to LaSalle and UP. I want other teams to make it to the finals. So, ako personally, I want him to go to a team that's not LaSalle or UP, but I wouldn't blame him. LaSalle and UP are always make it to the finals, and we all know they get the most, let's say, financial support. So I wouldn't blame him if he were to join those two big schools. Pero
Okay.
ako,
Yeah, go for
underdog
it.
pick FEU. FEU sana.
Oh, that would imagine Pasaol, Jonty. Yeah, Pasaol, Jonty, Kirby, Konate, and Luke Felipe or Cabonillas if he decides to go to FEU. Crazy lineup. Okay, let's picture this San Beda lineup in the UAAP. Huh? Jonty Miller, Nigel Gonzalez, Jamel Puno, um, Penny Estacio, insert an FSA, which San Beda historically has been good at recruiting, and Kalimag brothers, and the core that they had that just won the NCAA title, minus the players who have gone on to the next level, like Yuken, like Sahonia. Is that a Final Four team? Is that a finals team? Where would they end up in season 89? Just a quick prediction from all of you if it does happen. Gab, let's start with you.
I think they will battle for a Final Four. I think they will be like Adamson and they will battle for the Final Four. I've seen San Beda play in Asia Basket and in the preseason tournaments. They can match up well. The only problem is they don't have an FSA, so they're undersized at the center position. But I think they can solve that by getting an FSA. So I think they have length. They have shooting. I think they play that way. They have a lot of shooting. They spread out the floor. They do a lot of pressure defense. So I think they will battle for the Final Four. I don't think they can make the finals with teams like LaSalle and UP and even UST there. I think those teams are experienced and stacked, but definitely to battle the Final Four. I do think they have enough.
Let's also remember Marcelo and Torculas also expected to join San Beda. Maui, how about you? Where would the San Beda rank in season 89 if they can make it?
I'd probably be in the same boat as Gab is. We see UAP schools like Adamson and you become champions. in off-season tournaments that LaSalle and UP did not join. So I think the UAAP is a lot more challenging than the NCAA is. Uh, we see a lot of players coming from the UAAP and becoming stars in the NCAA with more opportunity. Diba? It's not always the case when you talk about the NCAA to the UAAP. But siguro si Jacob Cortez could probably be the best person to ask this question. But personally, if you ask me, I think probably still try to battle for the Final Four. But I wouldn't be surprised if they struggled right off the bat because the UAAP is a different beast. Diba? They'll have to reintegrate themselves with an FSA. They'll have to reintegrate playing with 6'7", 6'8" power forwards. Diba? We saw CSB have, I think it's Sean O'Malley, one of the top bigs, is only 6'3" or 6'4". And in the UAAP, that is not usually the case, diba? It's not very often we see 6'4", 6'3" power forwards to centers anymore. And that's a good thing. Diba? We'll never get a Kevin Kiambao, we'll never get a VJ Pre, we'll never get a Carl Tamayo without the FSA. And I think somebody commented kanina, if Letran daw sinama sa usapan, they'll ban FSA. Just stay in the NCAA if you don't want FSAs because the UAAP is far better, far faster, far more competitive because of FSAs. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I think San Beda could struggle right off the bat, even if they get a good FSA, because it's still a different ball game. It's the pace is different. Siyempre, when you're playing with taller, stronger players, it's different.
By the way, someone asked Sean Salvador of JRU to what UAP school. As of now, Sean Salvador has decided to stay with the JRU Heavy Bombers. Let's not forget who are the backers of JRU right now. It's not exactly just a quick snap of the finger to leave that institution. Sam and Mario, quick predictions. How would San Beda perform if they join season 89?
Final four contender for me, I think pretty much similar to what Maui and Gab said. I think meron silang X factor though. I'm assuming they have an average FSA. Hindi naman like unplayable, but like an average FSA compared to the others. I do think having Coach Yuri Escueta and Norman Black as part of the coaching staff and as your consultant gives them a bit of an edge. These are Ateneo coaches. Yuri Escueta was under Coach Tab also before. Alam naman natin how former coaches of Coach Tab perform well against him. We've seen FEU always beat Ateneo. So I think San Beda has a fighting chance. I think Final Four contender. They are NCAA champions, so I do give them credit for that. They do have a solid lineup. They have a solid backer in MVP. So I think they have the makings of a contender in the UAAP. But just putting them up there with LaSalle and UP immediately, medyo mahirap.
Mario, do you agree?
Yeah, I have the same as all of them. I believe it's like maybe a play-in spot, like battle for a play-in spot or something like that is where it probably ends up. And I think it's kind of summed up quite easily na UAAP UAAP players who come off the bench when you go bring them to the NCAA, it's just been dominance. Will Gozum, when he transferred from UP to CSB, it was 2 MVPs, I think, or something like that. I forgot. And then Patrick Sleet in the most recent season transferred from FEU to Perpetual, and he was averaging basically a triple-double. There's a significant gap, if you ask me, but just the amount of talent that San Beda has would put them in maybe the 4, 5, or 6 spot.
You know, if they still had Andrade and Sahonia, I would say they would make the finals. If they had those two guys. Legit. Yeah. But I mean, those two guys are good, man. Andrade was playing in the PBA playoffs. But with the current roster, I would say a Final Four team with the chance to maybe compete for twice to beat. I like Yuri Ball a lot. If you see the way San Beda plays, the way they spread the floor, the way they move the ball, the way bodies are continuously moving, someone asked Jonty after the UAP finals, what did you think? And he's like, there's way more isolation and one-on-one plays in the UAAP.
He watched the wrong game kasi Navs.
Puro ISO yun, Gav, di ba? That was the
When he
game.
was watching, I think it was all isolation plays. Games 1 and 2 of the UAP finals were all isolation.
That's true. That's true. But Jonty is also good in isolation, so I'm just saying he would fit in. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. This has been a really fun episode. We'll take some questions now from our viewers. If you guys have any questions for anyone in particular or for the group, send them in. So guys, while we're waiting for questions, let's ask each other one final question each, which is, what is your boldest hot take of the college basketball off-season? Mario, I think it's fitting that you start with this.
I don't know if this counts as a hot take, but I believe Jonty Miller is going to Ateneo. I don't know if we can count it as a hot take, but I believe Jonty is going to Ateneo. He's the guy Ateneo needs. That's all I'm gonna say about that. A pure scorer who can figure it all out. That's my hot take.
Okay, I like that. By the way, shout out to Gabby. Gabby, thanks for tuning in. Again, send your questions, everyone, if you guys have any questions before we end this episode. Sam, how about you? What's your bold hot take?
Okay, this is not really a bold hot take, but more wishful thinking. I'm going to say no one will change schools this off-season. From the existing UAAP players, no one will change schools. I'm manifesting it.
Pati sa Ateneo with the academic requirements, someone's asking now.
Patay tayo dyan.
Patay
Pag-usapan
tayo
na
dyan.
yan.
You may have gotten me there, brother. I may have forgotten that part. That Ateneo is quite strict with the ACADS. You got me there.
We have a comment here. When will the next Chris Gavina outburst be?
Give UE a break, guys. Give UE
I know,
a break.
Yui's that lovable kid in school. You know, I'm sure you guys had classmates in school na never napipikon, pero pinapagtripan ng lahat kasi sobrang chill. Ganun yung, parang naiinis sa sarili minsan, pero ang sayang kasama. Those are the UE fans to me, man. They like love and hate themselves so much, but they're just always so fun. Shout out to Andre Bautista, one of our new members in the community. Gab, how about you? What's your bold hot take?
Jacob Cortez will go pro. Oh.
Si Navs.
I think he's ready.
Magalit si Navs.
Honestly, I think he's so good. I think he's ready.
I mean,
Call
I
me.
mean, if
He's about
He
to
said
kick you out.
call me.
listen, he should if he gets an offer. He won a championship. He has titles in the NCAA and UAP. He has changed the perception for the old timers of the Cortez family legacy in LaSalle. If you know, you know from back in the day. He led the 4 seed to a championship, and he was clutch so many games in the process. Like, that's going out on the top. And by the way, we love Clint Escamis, but you don't want to go out the way he did, diba? Getting injured a week before the season, playing with a, I think, torn meniscus, if I'm not mistaken, and then seeing your team crumble like that. But what's going against Jacob right now is you look at the Korean Asian import spots, it's filled for almost every team. And the one guy who was in danger of being cut recently was Will Navarro. He has started playing better in the KBL. I'm not sure if you guys have seen his stats as of late. What pa ba? And in Japan, this also kind of impacts Mike Phillips in a way. They're considering, I think they're planning to take out the Asian import spot and making it a world import spot. So Filipinos aren't just competing with other Asian players now, they're competing with world imports. So, and the PBA draft is not going to take place till early 2027. So Jacob's going to look around and he's probably going to get a raise in his allowance and bonuses from LaSalle, if I'm not mistaken. He'll probably think, you know what's one thing that hasn't been done since my dad was in a LaSalle uniform? No DLSU team has won back-to-back championships since 2001. 25 years ago. He has the chance to extend his LaSalle legacy by doing that. Now, will he do that? We shall find out. Maui, what's your bold take?
Uh, I was gonna say I think one of Pasaol and Mongkopa will transfer. But out of solidarity kay Sam, I'll just say that I think more than two coaches will be axed this offseason.
Care to predict which coaches?
I think we talked about some of them a while ago. Some of the possible coaches. But let's see. Maybe we get a surprise. But if you were to ask me, maybe si Coach Jeff and Coach Jeff is definitely one of the coaches that are in the hot seat for me, because you really have to they have to decide, is it now or the future? And if they decide, if they think that they could still contend for next season, then definitely keep Coach Jeff. But if they think that they need to start to rebuild, then maybe Gabby's right. Maybe si Coach Jeff is the Mark Jackson of their team, and maybe they need another coach to bring them to the promised land, first to the finals and then eventually a UAAP ring, or maybe to the finals and a UAAP ring at the same season, but maybe not next year, because mabigat what they lost. But yeah, I don't know, maybe si Coach Pido manggulat pa ang UST. You just mentioned it's still not written in stone. Diba? So anything can happen. Anything can still happen. But I think I just have to say this. For if anyone still thinks Coach Topex is in hot seat, you'd probably be crazy at this point. I think Coach Topex has gained some leeway to even make some mistakes in the next few seasons to come.
All right. There was a question here. Someone asked, who is the best coach in the UAP right now? I'm going to take the structure of that, but change the question. Here is my updated list of greatest coaches in the UAAP Final Four era. Taking everything into account, okay? In order. Number 1, Franz Pumaren. Just for the total body of work. Number 2, Coach Norman Black. Norman would be 1 if he stayed in Ateneo longer. But he was there, I think, 2006 to 2012, if I'm not mistaken, right? Number 3, Tab Baldwin. Number 4, Goldwyn Monteverde. Number 5, Topex Robinson. That's my current 5 greatest coaches in the UAP Final Four era since 1993. Do you guys agree, or would your list be different?
Mine would be different. I can't put Franz Pumaren number 1. He got suspended. He quote unquote cheated. So I don't think despite the dynasty and the championships, you can't put a guy who cheated as number 1.
A guy with an asterisk.
Yeah, he's a guy with an asterisk. I would put probably Coach Norman Black number 1, 5 feet. Who has done that? Literally in the Final Four era, I don't think anyone has. So Coach Norman Black, probably after him, si Coach Franz Pumaren. I can't put Coach Franz number 1. I'm sorry, Navs. I know he's a LaSalle favorite, but he got suspended. So number 3, Coach Tab. 4 championships, can't argue with that. I would actually put Coach, someone we forget who had 2 back-to-back or 3 straight championships, Coach Coy Banal of FEU. Coach Coy Banal, Coach Arwin Santos, Denok Miranda, Mark Isip, that unstoppable FEU team. I think
That's a good one.
we're quick to forget that he is one of the best coaches in the Final Four era. And then you put Coach Gold there, 5 straight championships. Maybe
Finals appearances.
5 straight finals.
5 straight finals appearances. But maybe on par with Coach Topex. Coach Topex made 3 straight finals. So after that, you get into a lot of other coaches. Coach Alden Ayo made the finals with UST and LaSalle. I'm thinking
Nash Rosella.
Nash Rosella, who won a championship. Eric Altamirano, 4th seed that won a championship. The only other 4th seed to win a championship. So those are in the short list of mine. Others, Joel Banal, probably in 2002, would always be beloved by me and Maui. because we have a bias against the 2002 championship. So,
Pido
yun.
Harencio.
Pido,
Pido, Pido, probably he made the finals many times.
multiple times, yeah.
Yeah. So Coach Pido is right up there. So yun pa lang for now. We'll have to get more into that. Maybe it's a
Coach
topic
Arik
for,
Del Rosario also. Yeah, he's been mentioned. Although
yeah.
I give more props to the recent coaches in the FSA era. Now I know people are gonna say, I mean, there were no FSAs at the time. It's not their fault, but I think the level of competition the last probably since the Ben Embala days has been better than ever in the UAP. But I have no problems with your list, Gab. Mavi, Sam, Mario, how about you guys?
For me, I'll be so honest. I believe Coach Topex is above Coach Golden Monteverde in my opinion. I think Coach Topex has shown the ability to outcoach Coach Gold, if you ask me. Especially in the last three UP DLSU's. DLSU won two out of the three, and that's kind of hard to take out of the equation. At the same time, we could very easily say they could have won all three if Kevin Kiamba was able to stay in that whole fourth quarter, diba? I think Coach Topex is higher than Coach Gold, although I do respect Coach Gold's body of work. He's especially defensively, I think Coach Gold is one of the best defensive coaches in the league. But aside from that, my main point here is I think Coach Topex ranks higher than Coach Gold for me. That's it.
I give Gold extra credit because beating Ateneo in 2022 was insane. That gets extra
Oh,
plus points in my book. Maui, how about you?
Actually, I was reading the comment section, and I think maybe it's recency bias. Despite me watching yung 5 feet Ateneo, I would say si Coach Tab is the greatest UAP coach. Maybe if he can get Ateneo one more championship, a lot more people could say the same. But that 18-0 line team was crazy, and that 30 plus game win streak during the era that you mentioned is the hardest. I think that's one of the main that's not one of the main reasons. That's the main reason why the coaching why the level of competition, why the level of coaching in the UAP right now is so top tier. To the point that I think a lot of UAP coaches are a lot better than the coaches in our professional league. Uh, di ba si Coach Topex, they got pa from the professional league. So, yeah, but yeah, I think guys like Arik Del Rosario, I mean, that's why we got the Final Four era. Because I think because they swept and the UAP didn't know what to do. Uh, those guys deserve some credit. Si Coach Franz is probably another one that was really scary because initially I thought it was because of sila Aliado and sila Cortez, but most of the lineups he had was pretty competitive. They went to the finals most of the years he was there, but that asterisk, diba? I mean, maybe they used that player. Maybe they used si Benitez. Maybe
but
another player was really the one that's not eligible. I don't know. Para hindi kasing to contain the no. But that asterisk cannot make me put Coach France at the top of the list. But definitely top five. Iba.
Top five.
I mean, the culture of LaSalle is there because of Coach Franz. I think they played the similar way, they've had a similar roster construction because of Coach Franz.
Sam, how about you?
I think I agree with your five nabs. Siguro ibang order lang. Kinda agree with Maui. Siguro recency bias, but like I put Coach Tab higher than like Norman Black and Coach Franz. Iba din yung mga championships niya, like beating the Ben Embala, LaSalle. That was one of the best finals
True.
games for
True.
me. Winning four championships, diba? So I think I sort of put him up there. Si Coach Franz, LaSalle Coach Franz, I think was scary. Actually, sort of did some magic with Adamson also, but I give him less points kasi he couldn't bring Adamson to the finals. They were favorites at one point. Upset
2018.
sila ng
Yeah.
UP din. Yeah, and Coach Norman Black, I think, is up there. And then the two guys, I think, Coach Topex and Coach Gold, you can't deny yung talent nila and what they've done to the program, how they've turned around both UP and LaSalle.
Here's another fun way to look at that question. You have one game you need to win to save your life. Which coach are you picking to coach the team?
Coach Tab. Oh,
Coach Tab.
Coach Tab.
One game, Coach Norman ako.
Really, I think
Coach
in-game
Norman.
adjustments wise, mas impressed ako kay Coach Tab than Coach Norman Black. But we'll see.
The 2010 Ateneo Championship to me was insane. What Coach Norman did that season.
The repeat, yeah.
The
Yung
third
third,
one.
yung third championship yun, di ba? That
The
was,
Buena
that was
Fe.
the craziest, yeah.
The gap between Slaughter and Alusini.
Yeah.
Exactly. Insane. But something I thought about now too is you have to give a lot of the newer coaches post-pandemic props because it's not like back in the day where you had college players staying 4 or 5 years. You had all these years to build continuity with your players, and now you have to adjust so much in the fly. That's why what Coach Gold and Coach Topex are doing is really impressive. Granted, they are backed by really good management. Management wins more than anything in college basketball. But we'll see how it goes. Coach Juno, by the way, underrated for me. If you guys know, you know, in terms of Coach Juno being behind the pace and space attack we saw out of UST this season. And we might get some big news from Coach Juno soon. Who knows? Coach Juno, we'll see when that comes out. But proud of you, my guy. All right, guys, Gab, Sam, Maui, anything you have coming up with the Boleros you'd like to share to the listeners?
Ano nga ba? Parang wala, no? we'll figure something out within the week. Parang wala pa kaming plan for this week.
We're doing more NBA content, so stay tuned for
we're doing
that.
more NBA content pala. Yun.
Do you guys have favorite NBA teams also?
Lakers.
Please don't tell me. Why they even ask? Like, Sam, Maui, is it Lakers also for you guys?
Ako, I've always been a Spurs fan. But with LeBron, ever since he went back to Cleveland, it's LeBron again for me. So, despite being one of the biggest haters of the Los Angeles Lakers, I will have to swallow my gut and root for the Lakers until LeBron retires.
So LeBron over Kobe ka.
Definitely.
Same. Yeah, ako Mavs fan ako before. Dirk Nowitzki was my favorite player. Clippers then because I hated the Lakers also. I didn't like Kobe, but I'm a huge fan of LeBron. So, dahil nasa Lakers si LeBron, Lakers tayo. Lakers for life.
So, how did you deal? Were you a Mavs fan when they traded Luka away?
Wala na si Dirk eh. So, happy ako that Luka went to the Lakers with LeBron.
Lakers
He
na yan.
saved LeBron's ass.
Hey, Luka was awesome today against Memphis. Those clutch shots, fucking crazy. Mario, who's your favorite team and why is it the Charlotte Hornets?
I'll be so honest with you. I am a Lakers fan too, so you're probably
For the love of God.
so you're probably having a hard time right now, But I am a Lakers fan as well. But I am also LeBron over Kobe. Just saying, I'm also LeBron over Kobe.
For the record, I'm not a
Kobe
Lakers
over
fan.
Bron, man.
For the record, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan.
Are you guys watching the PBA? Are you keeping up? I mean, I have to say, 1GDL has made the PBA very, very interesting. If you guys aren't watching him in Converge,
With the
you
trash
should.
talk eh, no?
Hey,
Plus the trash talk pa eh.
yeah, we've been keeping up with the PBA at the Sixth Man Pod, so you guys can check that out. Also, we do after every game day we cover each game. Ginebra up 1-0, TNT up 1-0. So if you guys are fans of the PBA, you guys can check us out also.
You know what's fun about the PBA now, particularly this All-Filipino conferences? When you look at the teams, it's the guys we watched in the UAAP just years ago who are leading a lot of these teams. I mean, Phoenix had a lineup of Evan Nelly, Kai Balungay, and 3 other guys, Tyler Tio, Richie Rivero, and one more guy that we saw in the
Jason
PBA,
Perkins.
UAP recently. Perkins, and I'm like, am I watching the PBA or the UAP? I mean, Converge, Baltazar, Shawnee Winston, Alex Stockton, 1GDL. It's starting to get more interesting. if the league marketed these young guys more, I think we'd get more eyeballs because I do want to see the PBA succeed. I'm sure you guys also want to see the PBA succeed, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If once Terra Firma stops selling their top draft picks to Ginebra or to San Miguel, then I'll probably go back to watching the PBA. I
Tama mo na
used to be a
Blackwater.
huge someone in Blackwater. I used to be a huge San Miguel Beer fan. Danny I days, I used to root for them the whole time, but the farming just was too much for me. So I leave that to Mario, Nico, and the Six Man Podcast to tackle the PBA. I stopped there at the PBA.
Man, well, let's see how it goes. RJ Barrientos playing really well. Mario, anything you guys have planned other than PBA for the Six Man Podcast?
Well, we just made our Facebook group, so if people want to join that, we've been having discussions there all the time. We actually made this deal with the between the three of us because people have been asking us to do the face card episode of PBA players for some reason. I don't know why that's such a big deal for people. We made this deal now. If we get to 1,000 people in our Facebook group, we'll do the episode. So for those people who want us to do that episode, feel free to join.
Fantastic. Well, you guys tune in to the work we have coming up here in the Navs Effect podcast. Also, aside from sports, we also do pop culture content. The other day, I had Ray De La Cruz of the Facebook page Rayview on. We discussed Stranger Things Season 5 and also Avatar Fire and Ash. There's a lot of great movies, great TV shows coming out in 2026. The Night Manager on Prime, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms on HBO. I'm watching Percy Jackson right now on Disney Plus because I read the books when I was in college. And yeah, more sports content to come. A lot of NBA, a lot of PBA, and we have Alex Ayala competing once again tomorrow. She won today in the doubles matchup against Venus Williams. I mean, it's crazy what she's doing, and we're all proud of what she's accomplishing. And I'm also so proud of what the Six Man Podcast is doing, what the Boleros Podcast is doing. It's nice to see them succeed. And I hope to have a collaboration with these gentlemen once again. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was awesome having all of you. We went 2 hours. It's insane, but it felt like it went by like that. Pero ang sarap ng usapan. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who commented. Guys, I know gutom kayo for transfer news. It's January 6, January 5. Give it some weeks, and then we'll see the magic happen. But again, thanks everyone. God bless. Thank you to Cooper's Coffee House. Thank you to Daily Fantasy. Much love, everyone. Peace.